Okay, welcome everybody. I'm Raoul Romans. I'm a fourth-year student on the NHTV, and I understand you're all starting your project, your BEX project, your branding project this week, and you will be working on it in the coming 8 weeks. I did this project, so as I said, I did this project last year, and I hope to give you some clarity and some insight into what you can expect from the coming 8 weeks. I'm presenting on the behalf of Optimize. Optimize is an imaginary consultancy firm, and I would like to say, if there are any questions, please ask them at the end of the presentations. And if you have one question, when a question pops up in your mind, please write it down so that you don't forget it. Okay, the presentation will last for approximately 15 to 20 minutes, so stay focused, people. It's not very long. Okay, as you see on this slide, I'm presenting the soul of Fellenoord. Fellenoord is our neighborhood, the neighborhood we branded last year. And the soul, that's what it's all about. It's about finding the soul, or the identity, or finding the voice of your neighborhood. So there are different ways to name it, but they all come down to the same meaning. Okay, what can you expect from this presentation? You can expect that I will discuss several research methods. These methods are a very important part of your project, because if you don't, if you're not precise and serious on doing your research, you won't come with the right recommendations for your supervisor or your commissioner. Your commissioner will be someone from the municipality, because you're branding a neighborhood, and the municipality is, of course, the origin that is the highest origin and is leading the neighborhood. Okay, what else? The shared value profile. The shared value profile is, in short, a visualization of the most important values of your neighborhood. So I will present a value profile of our neighborhood we branded last year, but you can use it as an example. Furthermore, I will explain on the brand we developed and how we presented our soul book. The soul book is the first deliverable. You will be working to it from now on, and you will present it probably in week 5. I will just give you some inspiration on how you can do it. Okay, let's start. We started with desk research. Of course, almost every project first starts with desk research. You have to read into the literature. You have to get familiar with the topic, with neighborhood branding. Read books, read theory on branding, neighborhoods, and on branding in general. Get familiar with the topic. But also read into your neighborhood. So read articles. Look on the internet for what you can find on your neighborhood. So look for the facts. For example, look for the history. Look for how many inhabitants there live, the average income, that sort of facts. Become an expert. After these 3 weeks of desk research, become an expert on the neighborhood and on neighborhood branding in general. And then after 3 weeks, a very important phase. You start a very important phase. This phase is the field research. You only have 2 weeks, but you have to do a lot. You do field research, as you can read on the slide. Taste your neighborhood. You get really into your neighborhood. You get into your neighborhood and talk to the people and all the people involved in the neighborhood and committed or influenced by the neighborhood, such as entrepreneurs the entrepreneurs that have their business there, project developers, housing corporations, all stakeholders of a neighborhood. Find out who your stakeholders are in the first weeks, in the first 3 weeks, and make sure you have appointments in week 4 and 5. Because it's a very busy week and there are many stakeholders you probably want to get around the table with. So start early with finding your stakeholders and making appointments. And another point is strive for saturation. So during your research, you continue till no new findings come up. This means you keep on researching till you don't hear any new things. Okay? That's very important. Of course, it's not always possible, but you should strive for it. Or strive. Okay, let me continue with the next slide. This is a short overview, or this is an overview of the research methods we applied last year. You might apply them as well. I think you should look into it because they were very useful to us, and I will shortly describe them point by point, one by one, so that you get to know about these methods. Starting with interactive questionnaires. We found interactive questionnaires useful as they are face-to-face. You can really interact with a person, with your interviewee, and you can respond to certain situations. If a respondent doesn't get your question, you can elaborate on it. So you don't get questionnaires back without answers. You can always explain if someone doesn't get the question. And you can use the lettering technique. If they gave an answer, for example, we had a question like, what do you find important in life? And they said, for example, work. And we said, why? And then they explain on why they find work important. And that's you need to get behind certain answers to get the values, the motives, the needs. What's driving the people in your neighborhood? And we also applied in-depth interviews. So we called with, for example, we called with people from the Wijkraad. That's a government institution in direct contact with the municipality. And they are very concerned with the neighborhood. And we made an appointment and we got into the deep. These sorts of in-depth interviews take about 1 to 1.5 hours. And yeah, you have to prepare these in-depth interviews very well, but don't be too structured, because you might take another. Your respondent might be telling also a lot about or out of on his or her own initiative. So you don't really need a very structured interview, but you need to have those questions you really want to get answers to. Other important experts on our neighborhood were the Wijkwatch and the police officer. You will probably have a police officer that is concerned with your neighborhood as well. So look into it. And try to find his telephone number and make an appointment. In our case, our police officer could describe a lot of troubles that were troubling the neighborhood. So it was a very interesting conversation. And then we have creative research techniques.